Brad, how nice is it not to have to sweat out Selection Sunday this time?
It's great. Last year, those 6 days after the championship, they were pretty rough for us, not knowing what we were going to do. So now, we can just sit back and chill and relax and just watch some basketball. And, and when Selection Sunday comes, we'll find out who we play.
Hey, Bradford, would you mind talking a little bit about what Darius did tonight and how he was in control of the ball, control of the game, to play such good defense?
Darius, he's an amazing floor general. He's been under Joey. He's got guidance from Eric. And, he's paid his dues his first 2 years. And, he's been running the show this year. And the things he's been doing, he's been capable of doing that his whole career. And, he's just a great guy. And I couldn't be happier for anybody else.
Darius, can you talk a little bit about the emotions right now, playing your best game of your career high in points, 5 steals, on such a big stage?
Emotions very high, just happy for Bradford, finna finish his senior year with a championship, that was just our goal, and it's just a great feeling. I played real well, but I can't take all the credit, for just the confidence that my teammates have in me, to make such great plays, it's just a blessing, to be a part of this great team.
He's not up here, but would one of you guys talk about Troy knocking down those 4 free throws in the last 19 seconds?
I just want to say thank you to Troy, because I threw that bad pass, and if it wasn't for Troy making those free throws, then, we probably wouldn't be sitting right here. But, Troy's real clutch, when it comes down to free throws, so we had faith in him the whole time.
Brad, what type of lessons can be learned from last night and tonight, getting the lead both times, having the other team make a run at you, and does that kind of toughen you up for the NCAA ahead?
Yeah, definitely. This whole weekend, we've got pretty big leads, and the teams have come back. And, basketball games are runs. So, we just have to weather the storm and, make our little run of our own. And, we're just capable of just staying on top of our, offensive errors and defensive errors and, end up winning the game.
Brad, over here. This year kind of went, and it steadily grew, and you guys grew together, not like last year where there was a roller coaster and a dip in February. Could you just talk about your observations watching this team grow and watching some of these younger guys grow into the characters that they are to where you're at right now?
I said at the beginning of the season, this team was capable of doing great things. And, we're one of the youngest teams in the country, and people were doubting, what we were able to do. And, we're a very confident group, and the coaches instill that in us. And as players, we show that on the court. And, as the season got on, we just got better. We got more cohesive. Guys started to know what they were supposed to do on the court, knowing their roles. And, we were just playing at an all-time high. And, I said, towards the end of the season, we're going to start to hit our stride. And I think, we're headed that direction.
Darius, would you just talk a little bit about the first half and the second half, what you guys did well in the first half and how they were able to come back?
Our pressure the first half was, at an all-time high. And, second half, when it's hard to keep a big lead against such a great team. And, we're just trying to maintain our pressure and, just stay focused. And that second half, just got to stay focused on defense and getting stops. And, Lee made a couple of big shots. Massenet, he made a couple of big plays himself. But, we're happy with the outcome. But, through the whole 40 minutes, we just wanted to pressure. And that was our plan.
How much has what you guys did last year in the tournament maybe kind of helped this year, give you more confidence, make you feel like that's kind of what you're supposed to do?
It was a big confidence for us. But, like last year, maybe a few of us, like Bradford played the most minutes last year during that stretch of the tournament. And, for a few of us during the beginning of the season, it was kind of like trying to find our roles. But as the season, progressed, we all came in as one. And as you can see, we started getting better and better each night. And game in and game, started in practice. And, you know, we just bettered ourselves every day in practice, and, you know, outcomes like this will always come.
Can someone talk about Travion and his play at the end of the game? It seemed like towards the end of the game, you guys were putting the ball in his hands with the game on the line. Was that intentional?
He's a great player, so I mean, you know, we got faith in him to, you know, put the ball in his hands for him to make good plays. And, you know, Travion, a very good player. You know, he's gonna be maybe a top scorer at VCU probably one day. And we just got a lot of confidence in him for him to make those big plays. And I mean, that's just all it was. And he stepped up to the plate.
Anything else for these guys?
Thank you.
Start with an opening comment from Coach Smart on the win, and then we'll open up for some questions with him.
It was a great championship game. I'm so proud of our guys, these three guys that were just up here, and our whole team. It took a whole team effort to do what we did tonight. Drexel's a phenomenal team. I give Drexel an unbelievable amount of credit for the way they battled and fought and came, you know, almost all the way back. To me, there's no doubt that they're an NCAA tournament team. They just won 19 games in a row, and last time I checked, there's no team in the country that's done that outside of Kentucky. So, you know, I've already been asked a couple times about that. To me, they're definitely in.
Shaka, how much of a story of growth is it with this team, with the several sophomores and freshmen playing roles, and Brad being the only senior on this team?
Well, we had a lot of growing up to do once last season ended, and we knew that. And some of the growth, you know, occurred in the off season. Our guys worked extremely hard, and you know, it really helped having guys like Eric Maynor, Joey Rodriguez around our guys, Brandon Rozelle, because they pushed our guys and challenged our guys throughout the off season. But some of that growth couldn't occur until we actually played games with this team. And you know, as some of you know, we started the season 3-3. We weren't playing terrific basketball. We certainly weren't considered an NCAA tournament caliber team in November. But I think what we did do is we got better and better individually and collectively as a group. And that's what allowed us to play very good basketball in January and February, and then be playing our best basketball, you know, when it mattered most, which was over these past few days.
Shaka, you going to have Troy give clutch free throw shooting lessons in the next week?
I wish we had more guys that can shoot like him. To me, he's one of the best shooters in the country. And he didn't have a great game tonight, but he stepped up and made some big ones, and had a couple big threes in the first half. We can count on him to shoot the ball in, whether it's from the foul line or from the three-point line. So you need someone like that on your team. As for the other guys, they're good shooters. Rob Brandenburg's a good free throw shooter. He just, you know, didn't make them tonight. But he'll get better, and next time he's in that situation, he'll shoot them in.
The topic of growth, you've publicly spoken about the questions that you've gotten about Darius Theus all along. Could you just kind of speak to his growth, what you've seen from him, your relationship with him personally, and a night like tonight?
Well, Darius is the first kid that we recruited when we got here. And he's been terrific in terms of his attitude and his approach. He had a long way to go when he got here. In fact, one of the coaches in our league told me when I ran into him in the summer in between Darius' senior year and Darius' freshman year here, he said, you know, we were looking at, you know, trying to add him as a walk-on, and he's someone that maybe should be able to help you guys by his junior year. Well, it's his junior year, and he just won the most outstanding player of the conference tournament, so I think he's ahead of schedule. But, you know, he's been great. We tell Darius that he equals the team, and the team equals him. And however things are going for the team, he needs to think of that as how things are going for him. And that takes an unselfish player, but that's exactly what he is.
Shaka, last couple nights, gotten big leads. A lot of them have gone away. Is that a concern, or how much? I mean, what can you take from that going forward, and how much of a concern is it going forward?
Well, you got to give some of the credit to that, to George Mason yesterday and to Drexel today. I mean, it's not like we were playing teams that weren't capable of making runs. You're playing in the conference finals or conference semifinals. A team is going to make a run. You're not just going to run away. And that was actually very concerning yesterday when we got up so big. You know, psychologically, you didn't want your players to relax, but it's only human nature. I thought today we did a great job spurting into halftime. Then coming out of halftime, the baskets didn't come as easily for us. I thought Drexel did a great job of buckling down on defense. But we were pretty good defensively. They made some big shots. I thought, you know, Damian Lee hit some big threes. You know, Fouch hit some big ones. So it's not like, you know, we weren't guarding. We were guarding really well. They made some big shots, but, you know, we got enough stops to win it.
Everything starts with recruiting, and so you had to recognize Briante and Trevion as fitting into your system. So what did you see in them that you thought would fit? And then once you got them, how did you work them in so they played as they did this year? Well,
Bree, we felt like he had the potential to be an elite defender. He's not there yet. Franz Massenet kind of had his way with Bree at times tonight. But I think Bree really fits in with our style of play. He creates a lot of havoc in our presses, and that's what we need. So we recognize that in him, and we felt like he would be able to help us right away with that. As far as Trey, when I recruited Trey, when we recruited Trey, one of the things we told him was we felt like he could become one of the best scorers of all time at VCU. And sometimes coaches say things like that as a recruiting ploy, but I actually meant it, and I do believe that. I think the guy can really put the ball in the basket, and he has a knack for getting to the foul line. He showed that tonight. So future's really bright for both those guys. The exciting thing is where their ceiling is you know, far away from where they are right now. So they have a lot of progress that they can make.
Coach, I heard you tell Bruiser that you think he's going to be in. Can you just talk to me about their prospects and just about the Drexel team, your thoughts on them?
Well, they've had a phenomenal year. You know, Chris Fouch was out for a good portion of that non-conference schedule. And when you're missing one of your best players, you're not going to be quite the same. If they were able to play a couple of those non-conference games over with a full roster, they're going to win. There's no doubt in my mind. But even with, you know, what happened in November and December, the run that they've put together, and they haven't lost, before tonight, they haven't lost since almost New Year's. I mean, that is a ridiculous run in college basketball. And you know, I'm thinking over the past, not just this season, over the past 2-3 seasons, that's happened, you know, maybe a handful of times. And I think that has marked them as an NCAA tournament team. I will be very surprised if they don't get in. I don't care what the numbers say. I don't care about RPI. The tournament committee does a great job of watching, and they've been watching over the past 2 months, and they've seen what Drexel has done. And they watched tonight, and they saw Drexel come almost all the way back and take us all the way to the brink. And that, in a way, is very similar to what we did last year when we lost in the conference championship. So, in my mind, they're definitely in. You know, and everyone says, well, does the CAA deserve 2 bids? This year it does.
Coach, how have you guys, as a coaching staff, been able to develop DJ Haley's toughness, and how impressed were you with his play tonight?
Oh, it's been a process developing his toughness. It's been a process developing a lot of these guys' toughness. You know, some of the things that we have to do in practice are somewhat extreme because the transition from high school to being a member of the team, then to being a high-level functioning member of the team, that's a steep transition. But DJ's done a great job. He's really bought in. There's been some tough love on the part of the coaching staff. There's been, you know, a lot of extra conditioning with Coach Roos. He did a phenomenal job with DJ in the offseason. And the guys just made a decision, particularly over the last week or so, that, you know what, I'm going to be the toughest guy out here. I'm not backing down to anyone. And I thought he was phenomenal tonight.
Can you talk a little bit about the play from your big men, Reddick and Haley, just to follow up on that throughout the tournament? Are you pleased with the front court and going into the tournament? Are there any concerns there?
No, I mean, you have who you have. It's just, and I'm happy with who we have. You know, can we get better? Yeah, we can continue to get better. You got to remember, in our front court, the guys that played today, of the bigs, Javonte Reddick's a sophomore, played about 11 minutes a game last year. DJ Haley's a freshman. I mean, a sophomore. He played about 8 minutes a game last year. Those are the only bigs that got in the game. We also have a walk-on, David Hinton, that's played some for us. Jared Guest is a freshman. So we have a very, very young front court, and those guys are going to continue to get better and better. I'm excited about the future with those guys, and their development's been good. Again, they have got a long way to go, but you don't win the conference championship without big guys stepping up and playing, high-level basketball. And for them to do what they did on Sammy Givens, 0 for 3, 3 points, Daryl McCoy, 0 for 0, 0 points, and Darte Ruffin, 1 for 2, 4 points. Those are good players, very, very good players. In Givens' case, he's an all-conference player. So for our guys to do what they did, that's a heck of a feat.
Anything else?
Did you expect this at all? I mean, given the guys that you lost Rodriguez, Skeen, Roselle, you lost big-time players who took you to the Final Four. You got one senior in Burgess, and this group has done a remarkable job. Did you expect your young guys and only one senior to have this kind of year, and you're going back to the NCAA tournament after significant graduation losses?
I expect to win every game. So from that standpoint, yes, I expected it. Now, I was realistic about what we lost, and I knew, for instance, when we went down to the Charleston Classic and went 1-2 down there, I knew we weren't a conference championship caliber team at that point of the year, but that's why they play this tournament in March. And I really thought that if we focused on getting better and we made strides week by week by week, we could get to this point. So I'm a little different. I'm not too pie in the sky, but I do think that every time we go out, we've got a great chance to win. And with this team, the way these guys have worked, they give me no reason not to think that way.
Coach, could you describe what Bradford has meant for this team, especially this season?
He's just been our rock. He's held everything together. A lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet, Brad's been terrific about. Great leadership, great talk. If you don't talk out there as a team, you're going to get beat. And minus Brad, in November, we were one of the quietest teams in college basketball. And so Brad held so many things together with his voice. Younger guys got better in that regard, but they still needed Brad to kind of, again, hold it all together. He's made big plays for us on the offensive end, on the defensive end. He's been really, really good offensively of late. Tonight, he didn't score the ball quite as much, but again, he made big plays. He guards multiple positions. He's been everything for us. He's one of the best players ever at VCU, and the record that he set, nobody really talked about it yesterday, but I think that's a record that might never. I know records are made to be broken, but in today's day and age, the way that our basketball culture works, I don't see anyone breaking that record. And the guys that he passed on the way to breaking that record, I mean, you look at those names, and you just, it's amazing. So I'm going to miss Brad when he's gone, but I'm going to enjoy coaching him for, as long as we get to keep playing.
Coach, first time winning a conference championship for you. Obviously, you've been to the Final Four, but for you personally, how does it feel to have, won the conference championship after that's the thing you mainly planned for the whole season?
Well, just happy for our team and for our fans. I've been a part of some really good teams, so you know I've gotten a chance to enjoy winning and enjoy some championships. But this is a special feeling, and it's great to do it in Richmond with so many of our fans in the Coliseum here. This is a great league. The CAA, if you look up at the Ring of Champions, those teams that have won the league over the years have been high-level teams. You don't get to this point unless you're able to do some special things. So, you know, we'll look back, we'll reflect on that, we'll feel good about it, but, you know, now we're excited about Sunday and seeing who we're going to play next.